Ladies and gentlemen, please write. You did already. Thank you. And join us singing the national anthem. That's better, maybe. Thank you all for coming. I'm impressed. This weather looks terrible, but like true Minnesotans, and even those of you from outside Minnesota, we'll adapt you. You can be honorary Minnesotans because you're here, so you're tough enough to be one of us. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. We're going to start our program today with the Liberty Bell, which is a 2,000-pound copper and tin bell that, well, of course, broke several times in testing. The first 2 times they cast it, and eventually it broke again, so that it's famous for the crack, which is an imperfection. But it was announcing all kinds of things. The most famous thing, of course, was on July 8th, announcing the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So we give to you John Philip Sousa's The Liberty Bell March. Okay, I've mentioned several times how I think some of the really great movies are so popular and so great because of the music. And one of the great reasons for that has been the fabulous success of the Star Wars series of movies with music written by John Williams. Well, there's been spin-off series, and how many people are familiar with Baby Yoda, the little guy? He comes from the TV series, or the Disney series, The Mandalorian, which is a takeoff on Boba Fett with his Mandalorian armor, and this really nasty, mean bounty hunter captures this little kid for the bounty and ends up liking him, and they look out for each other and they're protecting each other, and it makes a pretty good story. Luke Skywalker gets into the story near the end, and it's pretty cool. But poor Ludwig Göransson got asked to write the music for it, and he's like, he's been a Star Wars fan all of his life. He's just old enough to have been just barely around when the whole thing started, and he's like, following in John Williams' footsteps, what am I doing? Well, he succeeded pretty well. He's becoming a pretty well-known and gradually more famous composer, and he started getting well-known for his music for The Mandalorian, which has lots of moods, lots of themes, lots of things in it. We're going to play for you just the march from The Mandalorian. The next one doesn't need a lot of introduction, but it's our patriotic concert, so of course we have to do, by Samuel Augustus Ward, America the Beautiful. The wind isn't so bad tonight as some. Thursday night's concert was actually more exciting. I just lost mine one time here, but doing pretty good. We're going to continue with a traditional patriotic piece called American Patrol. On this day in history in 1883, Rube Goldberg was born. Of course, he was the very famous cartoonist. Hi, Luke. That's the Luke who needs to remember to use the Force. He had this cartoon series called The Inventions of Professor Lucifer G. Butts. And those were where he had the drawings of all of his incredibly fancy machines to do simple things. You know, you'd have little rollers and cups and flippers and things to pour you a cup of coffee. It might take 10 minutes to get the cup of coffee, but you were fascinated watching it happen. In 1940, Purdue University began a Rube Goldberg contest, which was renewed in 1983, and there's Rube Goldberg contests around the country now today. And in 1931, the first person in history whose name became an adjective in the Merriam-Webster dictionary, a Rube Goldberg, was accomplishing a complex means by what seemingly could be done simply. So that was also for this day in history. Getting back to the real theme of the day, we're going to play for you Victory at Sea. I left it downstairs and I forgot to bring it upstairs. I was given a few years back by our tuba player, one of our tuba players, Brian, and Mary Beth on the front edge here, an old World War II propaganda poster, nicely framed, and it said, "Plant a victory garden. Your food is helping us fight." And I'm like, that's kind of good propaganda, really. And I like to recall the story I heard on a podcast of a German who was part of a troop that overran an American installation during World War II temporarily. And while the Americans had retreated, the Germans moved in and they walked into the supply tent and they were like, "We've been starving for weeks. Look at all of this food." And then what the one guy said, "When I saw a freshly baked chocolate cake, I knew we were going to lose the war." Supply has been a big thing for Americans always, something that American troops have usually been good at. Maybe since we learned our lesson at Valley Forge, after that, the troops have generally been well supplied. Maybe spots in Korea where that didn't happen, but most of the time, our logistics and our supply of troops has been marvelous. And that propaganda poster really fits in with part of why America has won a lot of our wars. And anyway, so we're going to play for you a piece called Victory Garden. And I keep forgetting the names. It's Dance of the Rhubarb, Boogie Woogie Broccoli, and Carrot Capers. I mentioned John Williams and how much difference he made, I think, to some movies. And of course, movies are the modern opera. Opera was for general popular entertainment, and they were hugely entertaining. And it had to have both the story and the music to really make it work, and just like our movies do today. Well, John Williams didn't only do Star Wars. Here we're going to give you a little bit more traditional for a patriotic holiday. We're going to give you a march by John Williams called the Midway March. We tried this last time, and I don't know that anybody in the audience knew it, but there's a spot in the musical Hamilton, or maybe it's the hip hop or the rap musical Hamilton, where the audience likes to sing along. It's where the king says, "Everybody," and it's really weird because the king, who's clearly going insane, is singing to his colonists, "My beloved, come back to me. I'll send a fully armed battalion to remind you of my love," and so forth. I'll try to give you everybody at the appropriate time to sing along, the da-ya-da-da-da stuff, but if you don't know it, just listen. And it's real short because we have a compensation or condensation of all the songs from the musical. It's not the full-length song you're used to, so it's just a little bit, but it's kind of fun. And we're going to play you selections from the musical Hamilton. Next, we're going to play for you a piece that our band director at the time, Paul Gauche, and president for many years, Dick Helgeson, drummer Randy Holmstrom, maybe Vic Starloff was there, probably a couple other of the old-timers from the city band. They went to a 1920-something concert of the Marine Band in Duluth. And they heard one song that, wow, I really like that. They went backstage and talked to the director, a Colonel Jorgensen or something. I've got it written down somewhere. I've got to find it. Anyway, they said, what was that march? We love it. He said, well, I don't think that's been published anywhere. We have it written for us in our library. I'll send you a copy. So for probably the next 80 years, the Two Harbors City Band was just about the only band in the country besides the Marine bands that had the March of the Women Marines, which we'll play for you now. Okay, we're going to close our program with one of the world's most famous pieces. And this is getting hard because, you know, Americans ought to play their own most famous song the best, but there are bands in Portugal and Spain and Japan and Brazil who play this marvelously well. It is so popular, people all over the world seem to love it. So we'll end our program tonight with, by John Philip Sousa, The Stars and Stripes Forever.
Sergey, what are you doing? What you doing?
Thank you. I almost forgot. This is our 125th year anniversary for the Two Harbors City Band. It is also the 125th year anniversary for the Stars and Stripes Forever. So, you know, goes together perfectly. Also, our country has been around for 247 years, so more than half the age of our country, the Two Harbors City Band has been here. We've been here since 32 years after the end of the Civil War, and we've been here for 22 of the 40-some presidents there have been. So we've been trying to supervise the last 22 presidents. Sorry about that. Doing the best we can. The Stars and Stripes Forever. Thank you. And thank you, brave people, for being here through all of this weather. Robin told me to mention that 1 year ago today, during the concert, it was 97 degrees. I don't know why we couldn't keep that. Well, maybe we didn't want to. I don't know. Thank you for coming. We'll be back same time, same station next week. And we'll also be here for Saturday Heritage Days at 11 in the morning. Thank you.